Well, welcome to my channel. This is your man of the story, or man of the soil. Actually, most call me happiness doctor. Today is the first episode of my story. An interesting, intriguing story. From grass to grace, from grace to pain. We shall look at all those, but today is about my birth, the first episode. Friends, if you like my channel, subscribe. If you have already subscribed, thank you. We are targeting 1,000 subscribers. Friends, thank you so much for listening. Today's first episode about my birth. To me, I believe every story needs a listener. And when listened to, life can change. I believe everybody has a story, but my story is my story. You have your story. Someone is waiting or waiting to listen to your story. Yesterday, I summarized everything from birth to being in the US in pain, yet having everything. And then my jail life for over a year in the US and living in pain because of neurological disease attained after torture, which affects my speech and balance. So bear with me. I am learning how to speak. I have a speech therapist. Friends, it was interesting in my birth. I was born in December 25th, 1977. A day when Bishop Luum was killed. A month where Bishop Luum was killed. But they produced me on a happy day, on Christmas Day. And my name automatically became Emmanuel Mwara Luturumoi. Emmanuel Mwara Luturumoi. Or you may call me Mwaka Lutukomoi. Friends, it was so interesting. I told you from the onset that my mother left me with my grandmother at the age of 2 months. I grew up in the hand of my grandmother, and she was such a nice lady. I remember so well. She used to to boil local warrage. She had a local brewing pot. She puts water in the middle. There's a saucepan. Down is the pot, some water down. Then she connects a pipe up to a small pot or tin or saucepan. Then after boiling, it refines the tough, we call it dujuru thing. So it refines it into local warrage, arege. We call it arege. Friends, that used to help us buy meals, things to eat at home. buy sugar. We only used to eat rice during Christmas time. Normally we eat local millet, flour mingled, and they normally mingle in the kitchen. Our kitchen are small grass thatch huts. So beautiful. In the grass hut, there are many stores. They put, they call it shell. Shell are small stores. They make it with the beads. And normally it's like this and they hang it up. You know where we put flowers, like the tins, we put flowers and ropes and it hangs exactly something like that. We call it shell. They put things there, foods. When they want, they get it and cook. Again, we used to have organic, less, modified, genetically modified maize. Normally after gardening maize, they put it in the kitchen up where there is smoke coming. Cooking, they use sticks or woods. And normally the smoke comes out from the pot on fire. The fire under the pot makes some smoke. They have a saying that when the smoke is too much for you and you can't handle, you better leave the kitchen. That's just a side story. Let's get back to my birth. On Christmas Day, my grandmother used to tell me every time for the past 40 years. She used to narrate how my mother produced me. She used to say, I was feeling pain. I mean, my mother was feeling, because my mother was also born on Christmas. I was born on Christmas. So my mother would tell me how she produced my mom. And then how my mom produced me. She tells me always that one day when she was feeling, my mother wanted to eat meat. She used to like beef so much, like me, though now I've reduced. She wanted to eat meat for breakfast. That was Christmas. Enough rice. I told you we used to take cassava, sweet potatoes to eat every day. We have a lot to eat. And then we have portion of maize. We have millet, mingled millet flour, and so on. We have a lot of bread to eat, food, or sauce. The others who call sauce food, they call the flour, the mingled flour, or portion, or millet mingled, they call it, it's a side dish, but the main thing to them is the sauce. But for us, actually, everything is food. But other tribes, they separate the two, the sauce in the bread. So my mother wanted so much to quickly have a breakfast with some meat. On days like that, we had more than 22 goats. And me and my brother, we learned how to tie them when we were little children. I think at the age of before we started learning, our Uncle Amos Umoe would teach us how to hold a hoe using our chest. We didn't know how to use the hoe until by the age of 5, 6, we were expert in digging and making heaps of sweet potatoes and then making them. And we know how to weed, finally to harvest the totals, all those. So that day, she started feeling some pain. Then the party was almost cut short because the pain of birth is serious. Some women cry, but my wife didn't cry. We have 5 children with her, and none. My firstborn this year in September, next month, she's clocking 17. We have been together for now coming to 18, 19 years. I met my wife when she was a little girl. I'll talk about it in some episode. This is the first episode about my birth. So now, my mother had to rush to the hospital, which was not far from our home. Thank God Uncle Amos had a bicycle. You know, then, if your home has a bicycle, it's like a car. They consider you very rich. So my uncle decided to take my mother to the hospital with the bicycle, not motorbike. There were no motorbikes then, and there were no telephone. We live in the village called Agwee. Agwee is in Gulu, and there were very few people, less than about 5 families. We are 2 wells, Agwee and Wangbenya, all Benya's well, and the name Agwee is my village well. Then if people are many, because sometimes the jerrycan is long, or the pots are long, or the saucepan, nyualbe, we have big ones called nyualbe. When a woman comes home, they see how she grinds, because our millet, as our simpers, they grind. So they see how you grind and how you carry the big saucepan we call nyualbe. Now, after carrying the water, when there are many people in the line of water, in Agwee and Wangbenya, our women rush to the neighboring area called Okangich. Then they fetch water there. So it was so interesting. When my mother went to the hospital, in Gulu hospital, let me not talk like Americans. I'm influenced, but I'm trying my best to speak in the language that everybody understands. So my brothers, when my mother went to the hospital, Gulu hospital, she delivered me, a bouncing baby boy, and she said that day I was the only one in Gulu hospital, and all were women. And then the former, excuse me, you know, I'm sickly, and sometimes I get hiccup. So finally, she delivered me on a Christmas day. In the hospital, I was the only man, or boy, among girls. I should have been called Okeny, because naturally, a kid born among girls is called Okeny. But because I was born on Christmas, I became Emmanuel Mwaka. Because in Africa, every name has meanings, like I said, from the onset. But again, among the girls, I think, because the former MP of Amuro, told me, a lady, that she was born that very day. I think we were born at the same time. That was the only man there. I was born at the time when there's the patriarchy, fathers, men took the day. They were so big. Even in America, it took some time for women to vote. Thank you so much.